I'm doing eyes on camera today, which I hardly ever do, and I'm going to explain what I'm doing as I do it. The reason that I don't usually do my eyes on camera and explain what it is that I'm doing is just because there are so many makeup videos. I feel like if people want to learn how to do the eyeshadow, there's a lot of videos out there that exist to help you do that anyway. But I do feel like a lot of the makeup videos that I see online, it's more reviewing products. People aren't really talking that much about what they're doing, and if they are talking about what they're doing, they're not actually explaining why they're doing it. So I'm going to do that today. I've always felt really passionately about education. Even when I was a makeup artist, I used to say to people all the time that there's so much expectation on women to be able to do their hair and makeup. Everyone's expected to know how to do it, but no one's ever taught. People in my generation and up learned how to do their makeup watching their mum do it. Whereas now, if you look at the younger generations and how much better they do makeup than we used to, it's because they have access to all of these self-taught and professional makeup artists doing their makeup online. I chose this particular eye because I get a lot of comments on it when I wear it. It's pretty simple, so hopefully you guys don't find it too difficult. And if you do have any questions, as always, just leave them in the comments. So the first thing that I do before I start any eyeshadow is use an eyeshadow primer. A lot of people don't realize that the eyes are actually one of the oiliest parts of the face. You can spend a really long time mastering this beautiful eyeshadow, and then an hour later you have a huge crease of oil through your eyelids. Creasing happens because there's oil present, and oil breaks down makeup. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to put on my eyeshadow primer. I'm using a P. Louise one, and I'm using one that is a very neutral color. The eyeshadow look that I'm doing is light. To carve out the base of my brow, I use some of the eyeshadow primer and I mix it with a concealer because the eyeshadow primer is slightly too light. Obviously my brows are tattooed. If I don't have makeup on, I'm fine just leaving them the way they are. I'm finding at the moment I'm preferring my brows to be slightly thinner, so I am basically carving out the bottom section of the brow tattoo. So I'm following the natural shape of the base of the brow, and then going in like that. And then just smoothing the product out so that I don't have a huge line. So can you see the difference between the thickness of this brow in comparison to that brow? I'm just going to conceal under my eyes. One thing that I would like to reiterate just throughout, I guess, any makeup video that I do really, is the importance of your brush choice and how you use it. So for example, you guys have just seen me use the same brush in two different ways. So when I was applying the eyeshadow primer, I was applying it flat because it's a bigger area, using the size of the brush to my advantage. And then when I was doing my brows, I was using the tip of the brush because it's nice and thin. You want the process to be as easy as possible. And part of that comes into what brushes you're using and how you're using them. I'm just taking that same brush, and all I want to do is just make sure that there's no crease through my eyeshadow primer. The reason that that would have creased in a very short amount of time potentially is because of the fact that it's a cream product and I haven't set it with anything and I'm blinking. The reason that I want to make sure there's no crease before I go in and set that eye primer with eyeshadow is because if there's a crease there, I'm basically setting the crease in place, and I don't want to do that. I'm now going to be applying what is referred to as a mid-tone. So I've got a palette here. This is my Dark Matter stack. It's by Melt Cosmetics. It's one of my favorite combinations of colors. I'm going to be using the lightest one, which is this one up here, and I'm using a nice big fluffy brush. So I'm basically using a nice big fluffy brush, and I'm placing that through my crease. Wherever you put your brush first is where you're gonna get the highest concentration of color. So I want the highest concentration of color, so I'm putting it through my crease, and then I'm just buffing that towards the brow. With midtones, we use them for a couple of different reasons. One is because they're going to help soften and blend any darker shades that you are going to use. And B, it helps to create a transition shade up towards your eyebrow, so that it doesn't just go from dark to light if you're doing a smoky eye. My mid-tone is actually my darker color. Basically using it just to give a little bit of definition through the crease. I don't really want much more than that. I'm going to be using a liquid eyeshadow. So essentially, it's a creamy consistency. It comes on an applicator that looks like a lip gloss. It's up to you if you want to use that applicator to apply it or if you want to transfer the product onto a brush. Now, if you use the applicator, it's not going to be as flexible as using it with a brush. So I'm going to transfer the product onto a brush, and then I'm just going to apply this onto my eyelid. Cream shadows are really easy to use, especially in a lighter color. So I've got that product onto my brush, and this is just a small flat brush. And basically what I'm doing, I'm gonna go in and I'm patting that onto the eyelid. If I swept that across my eyelid, it's just gonna be a huge mark through the cream where my brush has dragged across it. So I'm patting it on. That's the cream shadow. And then all I do, I'm just taking my fluffy brush and I just want to buff out that line where the glitter meets the mid-tone. The last step of the eyeshadow, I've got a MAC Reflex Glitter in Pearl. And all I'm going to do, so again on the same brush that I applied the cream shadow with, I'm just going to go through and I'm going to apply some powder glitter over the top. On the bottom, all I'm doing, I'm using that exact same shade that I used from Melt Cosmetics through my crease, and I'm literally just using a soft applicator brush, and I'm just gonna pop that underneath the eye. People laugh all the time because they're like, oh, when I put mascara on, I always open my mouth. The reason that a lot of people open their mouth is because it actually relaxes your orbicularis oculi, which is the circular muscle around your eye. So you're less likely to get it on the skin. So I'm gonna curl my lashes and I'm gonna really get in this. Sorry, I probably look ridiculous right now. When I'm putting false lashes on, I don't want to put too much mascara on. If I put too much mascara on, my eyelashes are not going to be as compliant with the false lashes. See the difference the mascara underneath the eye makes just to sort of finishing the eye off? I am very, very excited because, as we know, Model Rock Lashes is my favorite brand of lashes. My favorite Model Rock eyelashes are the W376s, these ones. And I finally ordered more and they have arrived and I absolutely love wearing them with looks like this. Again, against the base of the lash. So see how easy it is to manipulate the eyelash if the glue has gone tacky? The last thing that I do, I like to just coat the lashes lightly with some mascara, just so that they stand out slightly more against the eyeshadow. That is the eyes done. So I'm going to do my brows and my skin and I will come back and show you the finished product. This is the finished look. I hope you guys found that helpful. If you learned something new, pop it in the comments. I'd love to know what you actually learned from this video, if anything. And if you have any questions, you're more than welcome to leave them in the comments as well. Thanks for watching and I'll see you on the next one, guys.